Hey guys, it's Simon. This is Wrestling Unlimited as it's Friday, and we're here to talk about Friday Night Smackdown. That tonight's Smackdown was a pretty good show. We got a lot of stuff built going into Survivor Series. We learned the new number one contender for Ronda Rousey in the World Women's Championship. We kinda, maybe, possibly know who's going to challenge the Bloodline in War Games. I mean, they've basically set it up. We need one more person on the babyface team. We got the first match, actually first two matches in the World Cup tournament, and so much more, including a return to the show as well. But with that, again, like I stated, I like SmackDown. I thought it was a good show, very easy to watch, and a awesome tag title match. But with that, if you are watching live, I want to say thank you if you're watching twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited. But I also want to thank you if you're watching or listening later, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. I also want to say thank you if you're watching, and why did give me 1 second. 1 second. That's there. Why is that not there? Okay. I want to say thank you if you're watching later as well. But if you're watching on Twitch right now live, then you can help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and they always give you one free subscription to any Twitch channel, you want to subscribe to, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, it doesn't just have to be your Amazon Prime account. It could be anybody's, whether that's your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your grandma, your grandpa, the waitress at the Mexican restaurant last night that gave you your enchiladas. It could be anybody. You take that Amazon Prime account, you take that Twitch account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom, you're Prime Gaming. But on the flip side, if you're watching over there on YouTube, you can help us out over there as well by becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you directly support the channel, but you also get early access to news, early access podcast episodes, early access non-news videos, and so much more. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming one of the free games or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys, or Rumbleverse, use our code PW Unlimited at checkout, and you'll be directly supporting us right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, use code PWU NLIMITED at checkout for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases to directly support the channel and not be spending anything extra. Also, why am I getting this message on Twitter right now? This is an interesting one. Give me 1 quick second, guys. Okay. That's interesting. I got some info on something. I think it's regarding War Games, but because it's not definitive, I can't say it. Unfortunately. All right, cool. So let's go in and talk about SmackDown. So the show itself opens up with the undisputed tag team championship match. It's the New Day challenging the Usos, where basically if the Usos win, then they keep the titles, and Monday they break the New Day's record. If the New Day wins, they win the titles, and they keep their record. But unfortunately, I wasn't shocked by the finish. Match went almost 24 minutes. They worked a long match, but a really good match. And in the end, the Usos did retain. They'll break the record on Monday. So the show technically started off with Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Solo Sikoa watching from the locker room. Fans broke out into a loud Usi chant early on. There were some short New Day Rocks chants, and there were some Sammy chants where Jey Uso kept going, Sammy ain't here, Sammy ain't here. And what was I going to say? Michael Cole did make note that Sami Zayn is not here tonight in Indianapolis because he is dealing with a personal matter. Esports Gaming says, sorry I fell asleep, but WWE mentions Shinsuke versus Muta. Did they? If they did, I didn't hear that. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look that up really fast. I must have missed that if they did on commentary. We're not talking about that match yet, but let's see. Yeah, they said they actually mentioned an upcoming match with Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Great Muta on SmackDown tonight. So a few people tweeted that. Here, hold on. I got the clip right here. I can play the audio from the clip. We can play the audio. Screw it. Let's go. Only 10 seconds. Oh, now it's not going to want to play. Now it's not going to want to play.
Muta, of course, part of his retirement. Muta, of course, part of his retirement tour. That'll be at the Budokan Hall. Shinsuke versus Muta, New Year's Day. But now tonight, Nakamura will focus on Muta.
Interesting.
Muta, of course, part of his.
Very interesting that they actually mentioned that on the show. Very cool, too. Like, wouldn't have expected it. So back to this tag title match. The Usos briefly isolated Kofi on their side of the ring, but the New Day quickly took over. After sending the Usos to the floor, Kingston wiped them out with a trust fall dive. Kingston and Jimmy were trading shots back and forth early on before commercial break. The Usos took over after Jay caught Kingston with a suicide dive. They cut Kingston off from his corner and beat him down. Fans erupted in a loud "We Want Sammy" chant and a Sammy Uso chant. Basically, that riled up and fired up Jay Uso, where he was like, "You want Sammy? Sammy ain't here. Sammy Uso, who's Sammy Uso? I'll show you a Sammy." And he started beating on Kofi even more. Jimmy at one point slowed down the pace with the chinlock. Kingston did break free with a middle rope drop kick. He dumped Jimmy to the floor and fought off Jay. Kingston went to make the hot tag, but Jimmy pulled Xavier Woods off the apron just the last second. After another commercial break, Woods tagged in and dominated the Usos. He caught Jimmy with a Russian side leg sweep and scored a near fall on Jay. Woods and Kingston hit a series of moves on Jay, ending with Woods hitting a top rope leg drop for a close 2. Kingston hit the boom drop, but missed the Trouble in Paradise. Jay made the blind tag, and Kingston hit an SOS for a near fall. Usos then ran wild with double super kicks on the New Day. They followed this up with a double flying splash on Woods for a very close near fall. The Usos were frustrated at this point and set it for the 1D, but Kingston pulled out Jimmy. First, New Day hit the Midnight Hour on Jimmy on the floor. In the ring, New Day hit the Midnight Hour on Jay, but only got a very close 2. Fans then thought, well, that's the finish. Usos and the New Day met in the middle of the ring. They basically just did the whole, man, we're tired, look at each other, get a crowd reaction, and go. And that's what they did. Jay sent Woods to the floor and took him out with a super kick into the timekeeper's area. Kingston fought off the Usos, and the finish was incredible. Kofi went for a dive off the top rope. Usos caught him in midair with a 1D and pinned him to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I really enjoyed the hell out of this match. 100%. So after the break, Usos go back to the locker room. They're congratulated by Roman Reigns. Reigns noted that he had something to take care of tonight and needed all of them by his side. He's going to deal with this in the ring. He hugged both Jimmy and Jay. Well, actually, he hugged Jimmy and then gave Jay a slightly longer hug, which was interesting. Very interesting. Maybe there's nothing to it. Maybe there is. As we move forward, we had our first match in the World Cup tournament, the Smackdown World Cup tournament. Like we noted earlier, Michael Cole, during the entrance of Legado del Fantasma, referenced Great Muta versus Nakamura. This match went 8.5 minutes. Not much happened in the early portions of the match before they actually went to a commercial break, about 3 minutes in, maybe. After the break, Escobar did hit a drop kick, but Nakamura took over and tossed him into the barricade. Nakamura at one point rocked Escobar with an enziguri back from the break. After a flurry of offense, Nakamura hit the sliding German suplex off the middle rope. Escobar fought back and attacked Nakamura's injured knee. Legado del Fantasma caused a distraction, and Nakamura recovered and took out the heels. Nakamura climbed to the top rope, but Escobar cut him off. He then hit a middle rope phantom driver on Nakamura to pick up the pinfall victory. Cool looking spot. Escobar will now move on to the second round of the World Cup tournament. We don't know who he's going to face. We didn't see brackets, but we do know that Braun Strowman has moved on to the next round. And then we also do know that next week we will be getting, let me pull this up on the screen, Sami Zayn versus Butch and Mustafa Ali from Raw, who's been feuding with Seth Rollins, against Ricochet. Now that's a change, because earlier in the day it was reported that Rey Mysterio was supposed to be in this tournament, but Rey is not in the tournament. I don't know why. And Ali, who was not listed on the preliminary name list, whatever, is. Magma Lord says, I don't think anyone who watches WWE knows who Shinsuke's opponent from Japan is. I beg to differ. I watch WWE and I know who the Great Muta is. So that already debunks it. Bet you anybody from the 90s knows who Great Muta is. I mean, hit a run in WCW twice. Sporadic appearances, but hit a long run in New Japan a couple of times. Wrestled. I think you're wrong there, Magma Lord, saying that nobody, I don't think anyone who watches WWE knows who Shinsuke's opponent from Japan is. I beg to differ. A lot of people know who the Great Muta is, or whatever you want to call him, the Great Muta, Keiji Muto, whatever name he wants to go by. So, again, I would beg to differ, because, I mean, sporadically, he would show up here and there throughout the entire 90s in WCW. He's had matches in TNA. He was literally in NWO Japan. So it's like, come on, guy. As we move forward, notes just froze. Oh, they showed a Veterans Day video, and then Megan Morant was interviewing LA Knight in the back. Knight was complaining about not being in the World Cup tournament. When the Bray Wyatt image would flash on the screen, it spooked Knight for a second, and then it frustrated him. He's like, hey, this is my interview time. I don't need his stuff on my screen. Get that off there now. He turns around, Megan Morant's gone, Bray Wyatt's there. Wyatt said he's sick of pretending he's not proud of the horrible things he did to people. Knight got in Wyatt's face. Suddenly, an image flashed across the screen again. Wyatt then knocked Knight down and walked off. Knight got back to his feet and goes, keep in mind, Bray only walked away for like 10 seconds ago. And he goes, where'd he go? Where did he go? Where's this guy? So we're supposed to think Bray disappeared, magic, or LA Knight's just blind and can't see 4 feet in front of him, 5 feet in front of him. I doubt Bray ran. So looks like Bray's first match back might be LA Knight. Moving forward, we had a 6-pack challenge. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Shotzi, Sonya Deville, Lacey Evans, and Xia Li. Match went 11.5 minutes with the winner, Shotzi, getting a shot at Ronda Rousey and the SmackDown Women's Championship at Survivor Series War Games. So do we have to just say that now every time? Survivor Series War Games. Survivor Series War Games. Or can we just say War Games? Or Survivor Series, I mean. Can we not just say Survivor Series, or has this got to be Survivor Series War Games? Survivor Series War... You know what? I know how to test or to check. What did WWE label it on their Twitter? Like their tweet. Why can't I even find WWE's Twitter all of a sudden? Let's see. Actually, they didn't send out. Yeah, they put just hashtag Survivor Series, not Survivor Series War Games. Moving forward with this match. Match is pretty good. Everyone fought all around ringside early. The finish was a bit of a mess, though. Morgan and Deville took the focus as they battled in the ring. Morgan set up the ring steps, but Deville dropped her on the steps instead. Xia Li then caught Shotzi with a kick to the spine. As we came back from a commercial break, Lee and Evans went back and forth in the ring. Everyone else was lying around ringside area. Morgan fired up and ran wild on Xia Li and Lacey Evans. She then caught Rodriguez with a DDT, but DeVille tried to steal the pin. Morgan broke up the pin attempt. Rodriguez then hit the Tejano bomb on Lee, but DeVille pulled her out. The fans then broke into a tables chant, and Rodriguez set up a table in front of the steps. She set up for something, but Morgan dove off the barricade. They were supposed to seem like crash through the table, but the spot got botched very badly. It didn't work. They completely missed and fell under the table instead. Rodriguez, Morgan, and DeVille just laid there on the ground like, shit, we messed up. Screw it. We don't even need to try again. Back in the ring, Shotzi then would just all of a sudden pin Xia Li and pick up the victory. So Shotzi will be challenging Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Kind of a flat finish after you have the big botched table spot, and then all of a sudden it just goes straight to the finish in the ring. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, we didn't even see Shotzi do a move or her move or what's her, I don't even know what Shotzi's finish is. So yeah, not the bulk of the match was pretty good, but just the finish kind of just was no. In the back, Emma approaches Shotzi, congratulates her on her win, and says, have you seen Madcap? And Shotzi last goes, why would you be looking for Madcap? And Emma's like, well, and she's like, oh my God, do you have a crush on him? You're blushing. And Emma's like, shut up. And walks off looking for Madcap, her real life boyfriend. Shayna Baszler then runs into Shotzi. Shotzi basically tells Shayna that she's going to beat Ronda Rousey and take her title and whatnot. And she goes, well, why don't you say it to Ronda's face? Turn around. Ronda's standing right there. And Shayna then chokes out Shotzi. Hot Rod Bubba says, Tim, do you fan of the Great Muta? I think you're supposed to say, are you a fan of the Great Muta? And yes, I am. Taylor Braxton then interviewed Ricochet about his first round World Cup match next week against Mustafa Ali. Basically, he just said, I promise to win and regain the Intercontinental Championship. Imperium then showed up. Gunther wants Ricochet to win the tournament so he can beat him yet again. We then had a recap of Omos versus Braun Strowman from Crown Jewel. The progressive match flow of the week was Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross from Crown Jewel. Then we got another World Cup tournament match that went a minute and a half. Jinder Mahal comes out and cuts a promo on Shane McMahon's trophy because, yes, it's literally the same trophy Shane McMahon won in the Best in the World Cup tournament. Jinder cut the promo saying that he promises to win and then win the IC title. No man can stop him. And then you hear, Braun! And out comes Braun Strowman. Yeah, the early advantage. Mahal jumped Strowman before the bell. He actually had a slight advantage for the first 60 seconds. Strowman then recovered, hit him with the powerbomb, and pinned him to pick up the victory. That was it. Nothing happening at all match. You know what else wasn't a nothing happening match? Zelina Vega and B-Fab. B-Fab was supposed to have her main roster in-ring debut, and the match didn't happen. So Zelina and Legado come out. B-Fab and Hit Row come out. They get their whole entrance. Yada-da, yada, all of that. And then Zelina and B-Fab are in the ring. And I'm like, B-Fab's going to wrestle in that? She's wearing just the normal clothes she always wears. And she didn't. She didn't wrestle because out would come Sarah Logan, Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders. So the Viking Raiders music hits. We see fire up on the screens at the front of the ramp, at the top of the ramp. And Sarah Logan standing there. She's looking at the screen. Like, looks back. All of a sudden, Eric and Ivar jump into the ring, beat down Legado del Fantasma without Santos Escobar, and beat down Hit Row. Sarah Logan then jumps in. She takes out Zelina. B-Fab tries to slap her. She takes out B-Fab. And the Viking Raiders and Sarah Logan pose in the ring to end the segment. And I know what everyone's thinking. No, that's actually Sarah Logan, not Max the Impaler. I've seen so many people on Twitter tonight. Oh, she's just Max the Impaler. They just copied Max the Impaler. She looks just like Max the Impaler. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. Yes, maybe they'll change her next week. It's whatever. It's whatever. You know? So, cool. Sarah Logan's officially, we knew Sarah Logan was coming back. She's now officially back. She's on SmackDown. She's with her husband and his best friend. She's part of the Viking Raiders. Not much more to really say, to be completely honest. I think it's going to be cool having her back, especially back with them. Also, Ruby Riott sent out a tweet. Just says, my best friend's badass. I thought that was a cool tweet. Power Bubba says, what is your favorite match of Great Muta? So there's 2 Great Muta matches, 3 Great Muta matches I really like. There's the one in the 80s. I want to say it was like 86 or 87. He took on Dr. Death Steve Williams in New Japan. Then there was the New Japan WCW Super Show in 91 that he fought Sting. And then in also 91, in the G1 finals, he took on Masahiro Chono. 3 really good matches. 3 really good matches. Mag Malore says, who's the Impaler? Well, give me a second. Give me a second. Probably the most anyone's ever tweeted about Max the Impaler was tonight because of Sarah Logan. But give me 1 second and I'll pull up some comparison shots. Why can't I find any now? Like there was a bunch of them on Twitter and now I can't find any of them. Come on, why can't I find any all of a sudden? This will work. This will work. Let's pull this up on the screen. You know what? I'm just going to do it this way. Do it this way. This will work a lot easier. Let me pull these images up. Pop this over here. 3 screens coming in handy. So, here, Sarah Logan. Here, Max the Impaler. See the comparisons? As far as the look does go, pretty similar. Pretty freaking similar. Even the gear, somewhat similar. So, she's worked AEW matches. She's worked, I want to say, Impact matches. She challenged Camille at the anniversary show this year for the NWA Women's World Championship. So we'll see if they change up Sarah Logan's look or anything after all the comparisons online, but I don't think she's going to change that much. Maybe a little. Maybe like change the face paint. But even with the face paint like that, I didn't initially think, oh, she's copying Max the Impaler. I thought Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Because let me see something really fast. Nope, I'm not going to be able to find it now. I thought Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because watch. No. Yeah. If you go watch, there's a character in that game that she looked a lot like. Let me see if I can find an image of that character really fast. I don't remember the character's name, but there's a character that had the same face paint and whatnot that she looked a lot like. Now I'm not going to be able to find it. Let's try one more thing really fast. Wait, is this it? I think I might have found it. Yes. Let's pull this up on the screen. No, not Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Okay, it was Hellblade. Hellblade, Senya's Sacrifice is what it was. That's right. So this is what I got vibes of when I saw the face paint and all that. I thought of this immediately. I thought that was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but it's not. It's Hellblade. That's what I thought of immediately. You got the face paint up here. You got the line going down the mouth. It's immediately what I thought of. I didn't think Max the Impaler, but a million other people on Twitter did. Yeah, not even close to Walking Dead. No, she's a Viking. Freaking Viking. Inspired by me. Well, probably it was inspired by Tim. Inspired by me. You're saying I look like that? Well, what the fuck? Anyways, match doesn't happen. Beatdown ensues. Then we go to our main event segment. It's what they labeled Roman Reigns' special moment. Earlier in the night, Roman Reigns said he had some business to take care of in the ring. When he got to the ring, he began to address the Usos, but then they were interrupted by the Brawling Brutes. Brawling Brutes came out and they were like, we're sick and tired of the Bloodline and having the numbers game, so we've got somebody with us. And out comes Sheamus. His microphone don't work, though, cutting in and out. And he's like, Roman Reigns makes fun of him. What are you going to do? You can't even make the microphone work. And the fans are chanting, we can't hear you. So Sheamus goes, I don't need this. Let's just talk with our hands. And he throws the mic down, runs into the ring. So they all start brawling. And all of a sudden we hear, out comes Drew McIntyre. Lays out Jimmy Uso with a big boot on the apron. Jumps in the ring. All 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys are brawling as the show goes off the air. But as far as like the bulk of the segment, the Roman Reigns Bloodline stuff, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman were all in the ring. Fans broke out into an Usi chant. Reigns demanded Indianapolis acknowledge him. Heyman then took the mic and buried Indianapolis. The fans booed and he said that that's not very Usi of them. Heyman then promised the Usos, praised the Usos, and mocked the New Day. Reigns admitted, it's not easy being my cousins. He was always the star of the family. Reigns began to address the Usos, and that's when the Brawling Brutes came out and all hell ensued. So yeah, it looks like War Games might be the Bloodline, Roman, Sammy, Uso Solo against the Brawling Brutes. 3 Brawling Brutes. Let's go 3. 3 Brawling Brutes. Sheamus, Butch, Ridge Holland, Drew McIntyre, and a fifth opponent to still be named, which could be Kevin Owens. He's got some history earlier this year with the Bloodline and Sammy and the Usos. Maybe they throw somebody in there like a Braun Strowman. I don't know. I doubt that. But I think Owens makes the most sense. I thought it should have just been the Brawling Brutes and the New Day. But if they're going to go Drew, then they need one other person. That's it. Also, we do know for next week, Mustafa Ali will take on Ricochet and Butch will take on Sami Zayn, both first-round World Cup matches. Plus, Shotzi will go one-on-one with Shayna Baszler. With that, guys, that's everything that took place tonight on Friday Night SmackDown. Now, remember, if you want to be part of the show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. But before we get into the text messages, we have to check the polls. That's not correct. As far as the Twitch poll does go, %8 liked tonight's SmackDown, 13% didn't. Also, Tony Khan has just tweeted out, Bandito is all elite, which we kind of already knew. As far as the Twitter poll does go, 69% liked SmackDown, 17% thought it was just all right, and 13% did not like it. And finally, the YouTube poll, 81% liked it, 16% thought it was just all right, and 3% didn't like SmackDown. Some of the comments, says loved it. Says I like it because when the part where Sarah Logan is back alongside the Viking Raiders, this person says 8. How are you 8.75 out of 10? At that point, just give it a goddamn 9. What? The person also comments and says, good show, 7 out of 10. And another one says, the Usos are now the longest reigning tag team champions ever. Correct. Our Bubba said, Did just announce for AEW Rampage next Friday. Did just announce what, who, what, where, when. Like, first off, that's not proper English, no offense. And second, don't just say, did just announce for Rampage next week. Did just announce what? I'm not watching Rampage. I don't know what they're talking about on Rampage. As far as text messages do go, this person says, this text was sent well before SmackDown. Had to have been, because this person says, for War Games, do you think it will be Sheamus with the Brawling Brutes along the New Day? So this person sent this in during the wrestling wrap-up today and basically just asked if I think what I'm saying. Because I literally said that on the wrestling wrap-up with Luke earlier. I think it's going to be the Brawling Brutes and the New Day. And literally, when we were live, this really, guy? If I'm going to say on a show, I think it's the Brawling Brutes and the New Day, then don't send me a tweet and go, so you think it's the Brawling Brutes of the New Day? Yeah, that's what I just fucking said. I was wrong. It's not the New Day, but it is the Brawling Brutes. It says, who's your pick to win the World Cup tournament? That's a good one. Let's see all the names again, just to double check. Santos Escobar. I think it could come down to Santos Escobar. Yeah. No. Sammy and the Usos help him win the title. I think there you go right there. Sammy and the Usos help him win the title. And this person says, is everyone okay from the table spot? Also, who will be the fifth member against the Bloodline? Again, I don't know who the fifth member, and I assume everybody's okay. I don't know. First says, I enjoyed the show. Will the women's War Games match have a stipulation? Yeah, it's War Games. That's the frickin' stipulation, bud. 2 rings, 1 big ass cage. This person says, like, winner take all. Take all what? The women's title and the tag titles? I don't know if I like that. Because then, if, say, the baby faces win, who gets the tag titles? Alexa and Asuka? And then what are the other 2 women fighting for? Or if the heels win, who gets the women's title? Bayley? Then what's Nikki Cross in there for? I don't think that works like that. I don't think that can work, because then you're going to have women going, well, I won too, so why don't I get this belt? Or why do you get the belt and I don't? You know what I mean? I don't think that'll work. I don't think that'll work. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited if you're watching live, or YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. We will be back Monday morning for the wrestling wrap-up. Got nothing over this weekend, so yeah. Good UFC from tomorrow, but we don't review UFCs. Yet with that, I'll see you guys back live Monday morning for the wrestling wrap-up. I'm going to be live a little bit later, most likely playing God of War Ragnarok. Might have some friends that persuade me to play some Modern Warfare, though, so we'll see how that goes. But I'll be live a little bit later. Twitch.tv/Timmy Buddy. Again, that's twitch.tv/Timmy Buddy. Have a great night, guys. I'll see you next time.